On this episode of the Third and Thirsty podcast, the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders all hired new offensive coordinators. Which one was the riskiest hire? Who's under the most pressure? Who's set up to succeed? We'll get into it now. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome into the Third and Thirsty podcast. Your one-pot stop for Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Kansas City, referee, and Taylor Swift free. AFC West banter. I'm Alex Bell, fan of the Denver Broncos. See my team win 3 Super Bowls. Should have been a 4th this year, but it didn't happen. To my left, Omar Rubio. He's a fan of the Chargers. He's never seen his team win a Super Bowl, never will, especially when Justin Herbert is his quarterback. To my right, Edgar Larios. He's a fan of the Raiders. He's never seen his team win a Super Bowl because he's not 55 years old. 55. Wanna me hoo-ha? Hit you with a loud. Let's go. We're going to talk about offensive coordinators today. These guys didn't get that last joke because they never heard that song somehow. I just found out about that. But since our audience is all old dudes, I imagine someone got that reference. Let's go into offensive coordinators. We all have 3 new offensive coordinators here this year on the AFC West. We're going to see which one was the riskiest hire, who has the most to lose, who has the most pressure on them, and who has the biggest payoff. I guess we'll get into that too. 3 bright minds. One is sliding backwards, going from a head coaching position into an offensive coordinator position. One's high on the rise in Davis Webb, and then one is coming over from Seattle and joining Clint Kubiak. And we'll see how that goes. So who wants to take their first stab at it?
Shoot, I'll go. You guys are being all hesitant over there. I mean,
Mike McDaniel coming over, failed head coach, coming from the Dolphins, where they dropped 70 points on the Broncos a couple years ago, and just got fired. And as a weird, dorky guy, we'll see how he goes and how he's going to turn around the Chargers offense.
So like you said, Mike McDaniel's coming in over from Miami. His dorkiness, I kind of like it. Especially McDaniel. You're right. Need to key that one in. Delete that S. But like his dorkiness I think is gonna mesh well with Harbaugh's dorkiness. I feel like he's gonna bring Harbaugh's cool level maybe a little bit higher. He's getting into that old grandpa funny type of stuff, but maybe he'll get him into times. Or
I think they're gonna hate each other after week 4. But I mean, that's just me.
When McDaniel goes over and just blows a puff of smoke in his face or something.
With his capris and goofy watch. And
he says he's already getting some khakis, so.
That'll be fun to watch.
I don't know if they're going to be capri khakis. But
capri khakis with the sweater? Yeah, no, he'll look goofy.
He definitely will look goofy. But I think that'll kind of loosen up Herbert some. I feel like Herbert needs that. I feel like he hasn't had anybody to kind of like loosen him up, have him be more.
Are you talking about Harbaugh slaps him in the chest every game?
You saw that the first game. That's kind of more Harbaugh's thing to get himself fired up, thinking firing up the quarterback, which, hey, it works for some people, maybe not, but hey, Herbert goes along with it. And he knows it helps out his coach, maybe put him in a better mindset for the game. But back to McDaniel, I think he's going to kind of get everybody to relax a little bit. I think everybody's a little bit uptight, just kind of trying to follow exactly what Greg Roman was trying to do, like to the T, instead of Greg Roman, mixing and matching with what he had. So that's why I think he's going to be a good coordinator for us, for the Chargers. Scored a lot of points while they were in Miami with that 2 speed threats he had over there, with a quarterback with maybe half the arm of Justin Herbert if he's lucky. And then, I mean, athleticism, I feel like Herbert's a little bit more athletic than, maybe not as quick as Tua, but I feel like as fast and twice as strong.
Yeah, definitely not as fragile either. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Herbert does have that dog in him, so he's going to do whatever McDaniel, directs him to do. But I think he's going to direct him to just kind of play it a little more freely, play it a little bit more. Hopefully they get a little bit more protection for him, and then that way he will be able to play more freely. And that's just going to be coming from the schemes that McDaniel runs, where he gets people, like singles people out in space, puts them in motion, And not just the running backs, but also the tight ends. He does like a lot of different things that I've been seeing with tight ends, putting him in motion, and not just as a pass catchers, getting him in motion to get out into the second level of a run defense or a running scheme, getting out and getting it to the second level of the defense, the linebackers, and getting up on them. That's how they get, more explosive runs. So that's what I've really liked. I'm not just like looking at what he's done with all the numbers, all the touchdowns and the big numbers that Tyreek Hill, your favorite player,
biggest piece of shit on the planet.
Yeah, and then like things that he did with like Darren Waller last year after being out. So just little things like that, I feel like is gonna go a long way. Not just, oh, I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm cool, I know plays, I'm Mike from the Shanahan offense, so everything's gonna go good. Like no, he knows what it feels like to go bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So back to the pressure situation. So the question of the podcast was, who's under the most pressure? Why is he under pressure?
Because he wants to get back up to that head coaching status.
He doesn't want to end up like Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, actually is an offensive coordinator again somehow with the Cardinals, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Cardinals for making like the worst hire ever.
That makes a lot of sense because they took the Packers defensive coordinator, right, as a head coach.
I don't know what they're doing over there in Arizona. All I know is Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive coordinator, and anyone watching Arizona that's an Arizona Cardinal fan for some reason, man, you're in for a long season. A lot of games where they score 14 points. So.
But yeah, I feel like he wants to get back to that, being a head coach, and I feel like maybe he didn't have the right opportunity, presented to him this year. Obviously, other newer head coaches took probably the more, I would say, like, more high profile jobs with already a good team in place, good quarterback. Maybe just like they didn't see the vision for the coach, kind of like a Buffalo type of thing. So maybe this year he wants to show what he can do with a good quarterback and a decent, which I would say really not decent, but really good core of young playmakers around him. Because he has like three receivers that are going to be three of his receivers have only been in the league for 2 years or less. He's got a rookie coming off a rookie tight end, Ronda Gadsden. Another rookie as a running back in Marion Hampton, who is a beast of a rookie and not just strong but fast. So I feel like he's going to try to get all that together, put a perfect season together to be the most sought after head coach. So having that pressure, if you don't have that good of an offense and that's all you're having to focus on now, then I feel like it's not going to put him in a position where he wants to be. And also, I think he took this as a challenge to try to get Justin Herbert, up over that hump.
Well, I was just going to say, his biggest challenge is going to see if he could find a way to convince Justin Herbert in January that it's actually October. So I don't know if he could get a hold of his phone and change his wallpaper to say October instead of January, or I don't know, maybe hit him in the head a couple of times or something and just tell him it's week 7. If he's good at that, then he might be the best offensive coordinator in the world because he'll get October Justin Herbert instead of January Justin Herbert when it matters the most. But I don't think he has those superpowers, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out.
Coming from a Broncos fan, obviously.
Or just anyone that's watched Justin Herbert play football in January. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to have a lot of pressure. He's going backwards in his career, I guess you could say. Going from a head coach to an offensive coordinator, I guess it's not the end of the world. He's still going to be making pretty good money doing what he's going to be doing. And maybe he's better suited as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But he's only ever been an offensive coordinator while calling plays. This is going to be his first time, actually. When he was with Shanahan in where do they play now? Santa Clara, wherever the hell they are.
Yeah, you can still call him San Francisco.
Okay, in San Francisco. He was the offensive coordinator, but Shanahan had the play calling duties.
Yeah.
And then he got hired to go over to Miami, but he was the head coach having the play calling duties, so he had a lot more going on. So now he's just going to be able to focus on play calling and calling the plays that he wants to, not just like, what do you want to do today, coach? What plays do you want to call?
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it. We'll see. I don't think it's going to work out again. I don't think you can convince Justin Herbert that it's October when it's January. somehow that foot's going to fall. But going the other way, Broncos, Davis Webb, obviously had a lot of head coach buzz this year. Has some interviews with teams like the Raiders. I think he even got a second interview there. So obviously going into the season, he's going to be a hot candidate. Looked at in a way where if things go well this year with the Broncos and him playing or calling plays, then he's obviously going to be a top 3 candidate for whatever jobs open up. So definitely the pressure's on him to continue that hype because, I mean, especially calling the plays now, I mean, worst case scenario for Davis Webb, 4 games in, it doesn't go well, and Sean Payton takes the play calling back, and
there goes your career.
Yeah, well, I don't know about career. I mean, he's
still pretty good.
He's 31 years old, which
QB
is crazy. By the way, I'm 37. Can't imagine 6 years ago going into Sean Payton's office and saying, yeah, if you want to keep me, I'm going to have to call plays for your offense. But that's what Davis Webb did, and it worked out. Sean Payton giving up calling plays for the first time in his career outside of when he was hurt, when he tore his ACL. But Davis Webb did call plays during the preseason last year. Dialed up a play for my boy Evan Ingram, so look out for that this year. The Joker is going to be in full effect. And but look, I mean, Davis Webb's obviously going to have a lot to play with. It's still going to be Sean Payton's offense that he'll be running, but he will be calling the plays. We'll see what kind of a difference that makes, but the pressure is definitely going to be on Davis Webb to continue that hype train that he's got around him. Again, if it doesn't go well, he has those play calling revoked, and maybe the offense kind of does what we've been doing the last couple years, which is finishing, top 10, 15, but, not a prolific, high-flying offense. I think that hype will kind of die down on him, and who knows? Maybe he gets fired as an offensive coordinator. I don't think it's going to go that bad. I think it's going to work out really well with Davis Webb, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be here much longer. But the pressure is definitely high on him. Yeah. I'd say higher than McDaniel, and probably the highest in the AFC West, because things can go so wrong. But he's going to have a lot to play with. Obviously, going into year 3 with Bo, he has that relationship with Bo. He's been his quarterback coach the whole time. They've been essentially best friends, apparently. And, a lot of young weapons. Don't have a crazy number 1 wide receiver, but you got a lot of good guys in Franklin and Bryant, Court, Mims, and I don't know what they're going to do with the running back room, but look, he's going to have a lot of work to with, and pressure's on. Let's see what he could do with it. I think he's going to do just great.
Yeah. I think otherwise.
Why? You want to give a reason?
I just think that
he's a Bronco, so you just want to root against him?
I mean, yeah, number 1, thank you. But now besides that, I think that I think it's too early. I think he hasn't been – I mean, he's been a quarterback coach, but he hasn't, called plays before. He's so young. He could still could be too much for him, It would have been interesting to see if maybe when they fired Joe Lombardi, they just brought him up, had him for a year, and then gave him those play calling duties, because then he's been there. He's been there, but not as offensive coordinator. I guess that's the only way to really truly test to see if he really got it, is to give him the play calling duties. But I think there's a lot riding on it, as far as you guys were a game away from the Super Bowl with the coach that was calling the plays still in the fold, and then with him coming in and now taking the play calling duties. I don't know if I would be willing to trust him that much yet.
I guess if it came down to it, I don't know if I would either, but Sean Payton does, and that's good enough for me. I trust Sean Payton a little bit more than I would trust my gut. Also, Sean McVay became head coach at 30 years old, so the NFL is definitely moving in that young direction, and Sean Payton's doing so with his coaching staff. And I think this was really going to help Sean Payton as well. I mean, look, his whole career, he's had to handle everything on the sideline with, like you were talking about with McDaniel, not only running and, keeping the pace of the game and making those big decisions, and then also calling plays, and clock management, when to go for it on 4th down, what call to play or a play to call on 4th down and 4th and 1 in the AFC Championship game when you're in field goal position. That might have been a big part of his decision. Hey, I had to make that decision. I had to come up with a play call. It was a bad play call. I called the timeout. It was still a bad play call. Maybe I give it to a younger guy who's going to come up with maybe a better play in a situation like that. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I trust Sean Payton. So if Sean Payton's willing to make this move, again, Sean Payton likes to win. He likes to be right. I don't think he makes a big move like this unless he was really confident in doing it. So,
Yeah. To me, honestly, I feel like both of your guys' offensive coordinators, I mean, out of the two, I feel like Webb is a little bit more in the hot seat just because he's brand new. But to be honest with you, not just Peyton, but a lot of people, like when the Raiders were into like interviewing him, a lot of people were like talking highly about him because he played the quarterback position and he was really good at it. Even when he was a quarterback or backup quarterback, he was helping a starter, study the playbook and stuff like that.
Threw passes to Evan Ingram. Good friends with Evan Ingram.
So,
watch out for Evan Ingram.
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, that's pretty much
As a
it.
coach.
But I feel like both offensive coordinators honestly have a good chance to take the next step because both of them are taking over good offenses. If Chargers can stay healthy, McDaniel can honestly, I can see probably like either a top 5 offense, just like the Broncos. I can see that those both offenses being, top 10 or top 5, just depending on how they do it. But Webb is definitely like somebody a little bit concerning because he's brand new. For the Raiders, obviously, we have our offensive coordinator, Andrew Giannacco. He's not going to be the one calling the plays. He's been following Clint Kubiak for the last 3 years. He was with them with the Saints, with the Seattle. He won the Super Bowl with Seattle with him, and now he's following him here with the Raiders. He was actually interviewing for offensive coordinator with Seattle, so we didn't even think he was going to come back. He was going to join the Raiders, but once we saw that the Niners went with somebody once we saw that Seattle went with somebody with the Niners, we knew that he was coming with the Raiders, and he's a really good. He started off with the receivers coach as a receivers coach, and now he's more of a quarterbacks coach. But he's just like the right hand man for Clint. Like he knows everything through his whole offense. Like he knows what the quarterback needs to do in Clint's offense. He knows what the receivers need to do.
And that's probably going to be his biggest pressure, right? Is getting Mendoza up to speed.
Yeah. But I feel like, the interesting stuff is that, and what's really interesting is that the Raiders just finished signing all their coaches and they didn't get a quarterback coach. But because Andrew Giannacco has the experience for it, we also have Mike McCoy, which is the assistant head coach. He also has experience with quarterbacks. But to be honest with you, Andrew Giannacco, he worked with Derek Carr. He worked with Spencer Rattler. He worked with Sam Darnold. He worked with a lot of quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler was a rookie during that season, but he still was doing pretty good. I mean, Derek Carr was going off those first 4 games when he was with the Saints. But so yeah, I believe we got a good offensive coordinator, even though he's not be calling the offensive plays. I feel like we got a good coach. But because it's so brand new and the Raiders are basically starting from rebuild mode, I don't see them having the pressure not until next year, and depending on how if the offense improved or didn't improve at all. If next year we get worse, we only win 2 games, or our offense gets even worse, Mendoza looks like nothing, our offense is just not clicking, then yeah, sure. But to be honest with you, it's so brand new that I feel like even if we don't go heavy in free agency, I believe they're gonna be okay with a slow start, but after the second year, after when they already picked their players and have already a year under that scheme, then that's when the pressure starts building. That's when last year was your a warm up. This year or the year after is gonna be more okay, you need to show improvement. If not, this is definitely not going the way we wanted it.
Yeah, like I said, I think his biggest pressure is going to be able to get Mendoza up to speed and try to break that narrative that the Raiders are just a shithole franchise and a pit of despair for draft picks to go in and just not have a great career, especially quarterback. So it'll definitely be up to him and Kubiak to get him up to speed and make him worthy of that number 1 overall pick.
And they've worked with plenty of like quarterbacks where you could say like they worked with Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins was having like 4,000 yards during when he was with the Vikings. Justin Jefferson had one of his best careers, or had one of the best rookie careers, with Clint Kubiak being offensive coordinator. With the Saints, same thing. Alvin Kamara was having a really good season. Derek Carr, just until he got hurt. Seattle, we all saw what Seattle's offense was last year. The year before that, the offense was nowhere near close to that. Like, that running game was insane. That offensive line definitely improved. So, I think the Raiders have... I think Clint Kubiak has the blueprint, is just getting the right personnel at this point. And I feel like that's what the Raiders are going to be trying to do, just getting them the right personnel. But the only way for him to actually, or them to actually have that pressure, is if them having the personnel and still not seeing that improvement.
That's what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, they spend all this money, and they're still not good.
So, like, right now it's too soon for any of them to be in the hot seat, but I feel like next year, once we can see that they got some personnel and we still don't see no improvement, then that's when you're like, okay, now you're in the hot seat, bro. You got exactly what you wanted. Like, imagine we get Tyler Lindenbaum. We pay him like, maybe we make him one of the highest paid centers, but yet we're still 32 in rushing. That's not improvement at all.
Yep.
You can't go even just from 32 to like 29. You got to see it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, true that, but at least you see the best center in the league, and you can't even go up to 5 positions, at least 20. I feel like like our tackles can definitely improve, but I feel like with their interior, it could definitely make, I wouldn't say number 1 offense, rushing offense, but definitely a lot better than we did last year.
It's hard to be worse.
Yeah, especially
it's really hard to be worse.
It's actually, honestly, yeah, it's really, if Raiders honestly get worse next year and they got a lot of good personnel, I would be worried, to be honest with you. But I just don't see it happening.
We'll see.
I do.
They are the Raiders, so they could always find a way to get worse somehow.
Yeah, I just
they proved it this year. We never thought they'd be in this position when they got Carroll, but
yeah, but I feel
here
like
we are.
I feel like that they just forced too many coaches to work together, and that's why even that freaking Chip Kelly whole thing, like, it was that whole offense, that whole coaching staff just really messed up that whole team. It really set them back.
It really didn't work out. It was awesome.
Back to the Davis Webb, though, I'd like to make a little comparison of what Jim Harbaugh did with his defensive coordinator. I feel like they planned it. He saw what good of a coach he was, and a bright mind. He said, why don't you go back to college for a year and get some play calling duty, like defensive play calling, and then, hey, we know Minter's not going to be here for much longer. It could be a year, it could be 2. Go get some defensive play calling under your belt, and then maybe it works out. We'll see. If not, I can always give you good references or, help you out in other ways, but bring back maybe just to be on the defensive staff, but then you already have that under your belt. That would have been something to see with Davis Webb. Let him go to like a college team for a year and let him do offensive play calling just to get that experience for a full season. And even if he does good there, or he should do good there if you have that much confidence in him, and then come up and he's already kind of ready to go.
No.
I don't think
you guys understand the dynamic between Bo Nix and Davis Webb.
I don't think I don't think he's in a position where, or Denver's in a position where it's a loss. Like he said, like, even if Davis Webb would for some reason not succeed, Sean Payton could take it back, and then he can just continue to learn under him.
Yeah, and the number one thing that's been the most important these last 2 seasons is Bo Nix's development. Last thing you want to do is take the guy that he's the most comfortable with, that he spends every single day with, 12 hours a day with, and take him out of that room so he could go learn how to call plays in college. You keep him in the room, keep him with Bo, develop that relationship, and now they could see what it's going to come to with him being the play caller and the offensive coordinator. So I don't know. I guess it works for the Chargers, but again, that's a poverty franchise. You don't really want to follow what they're doing. Stick with the Peyton way.
No. Ortiz and Harbaugh.
Okay, I think that's as much juice as we're going to squeeze out of that conversation. You guys want to talk a little bit about free agents?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, that's going to be starting next week. We're recording on Monday, March 2nd. Legal tampering opens up on the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So we will actually have something to talk about next week. It'll be nice.
Hopefully. Shit.
Yeah.
Usually as soon as that clock strikes, you're already hearing,
we'll have all the
hearing
deals.
things.
We'll have all the deals. So
Yeah.
let's give a couple of free agents that we're hoping to have happen next week.
All right.
Just run through a couple.
But before we do, just make sure to like and subscribe on this video because we are Third and Thirsty and we stay thirsty.
Nice. Good pitch. Follow us on Instagram, Third and Thirsty Podcast. And thank you for watching. Really appreciate that. Share with a friend. We always appreciate that as well. I'll start. Broncos obviously need playmakers. There's a couple out there. A couple are going to be already tagged. Brees Hall is probably not going to become available. Pickens is already being tagged. You could trade for him, I guess, but that's definitely not going to happen. It would take way too much to get him out of there. Other wide receivers like Alec Pierce don't really want to have too much interest in. He's too much like Courtland Sutton. Good player, but we already got him. So looking at guys like Kenneth Walker, obviously just won Super Bowl MVP. He's going to be expensive.
He might get tagged.
I don't know. From what I'm reading, it looks like he's actually going to hit the market.
Wow.
Doesn't necessarily mean he won't be a Seahawk. But he's going to be hitting he's only 25 still too,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. Good for him.
He's got a lot of run in those legs.
Especially after winning that Super Bowl. He's going to end the way he ran in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to cash in.
So that would be a lot of fun. Obviously, Brees Hall, if he becomes available, that'd be fun. Looks like he got tagged or is going to be tagged. So giving up on that pretty much already. Rashid Shaheed would be fun. Another explosive player. But again, you're just kind of adding a good wide receiver to a wide receiver room that's filled with good players, not great players. That's pretty much it.
Mike Evans?
No, I'm not really interested in Mike Evans. Again, he's a lot like Courtland Sutton. He's 33. Again, adding a good player to a good room. Mike Evans 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Great. But Cade Otton, he's interesting. He would definitely help in the run game in that tight end room. Add another receiving threat there. Kyle Pitts is off the table again.
Mm-hmm.
So, weapons. Travis Etienne,
He still showed that last year. He's still, especially if you pair him up
and he's
with
still only 27.
That's
RJ Harvey.
Right. He could be interesting. I don't know. He's just not high on my list, I guess.
I saw a post where like somebody was saying like all free agents that might come up, and I did see Trevor Etienne going to the Broncos.
Yeah, it could happen. The Broncos need a running back, whether it's free agency or the draft. So,
or both.
Yeah, it could be. They could just add some competition. Jaleel McLaughlin is a unrestricted free agent now. Please do not go to the Chargers like I've been talking about. Don't want to see that. But yeah, internal guys, JFM, need him back. He's going to be too expensive. JFM, if you're listening, take the team-friendly deal. Just come back, get your sacks, get you a Super Bowl.
I've heard rumblings of him. The Chargers being interested in him.
I would hate that. He's going to be getting like $20 million a year. Broncos traded a 7th-round pick for him on draft day with the Jets. What a steal. Yeah, but that's it. Alex Singleton, I'm sure, will be back. It'll be nice to see him sign and be back with Denver.
If you had to pick the one that you would want, your top free agent.
They've already been tagged, dude. It was Pickens and Brees Hall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of whoever's out there now.
Shit, I don't know.
It could be internal. Could be external.
Internal. I'm so confident Alex Singleton's going to come back, so I'm not even really worried about that. So it would be JFM because I just don't see it happening because he's going to be too expensive. But outside free agents, I think it'd probably be Kenneth Walker. That'd be the most exciting. Obviously, just had the best game of his career, which is going to up his price a little bit. But hey, Super Bowl window. You only got a couple years left with Bo's rookie contract. make that splash if you think he's the guy that's going to be able to put him over the edge. Love for J.K. to come back and be healthy, but
that's
so tough to count on.
Yeah, it's a little tough to ask for.
So if we could just put J.K. in bubble wrap, maybe not even have him play until like week 13. But yeah,
I can see us signing him like late in the season or something, if need be.
No, he's not going to be available then. Someone will give him some money. Hope J.K. the best. Be nice if it's in Denver, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, Chief joins the Raiders to back up Genty. He went through Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Next thing we know, freaking
just don't be a Chief.
Oh, yeah. Chiefs are looking for running back too.
That's when he'll stay healthy and win Super Bowl MVP.
Same question to you. Who's your top free agent? Internal or external?
To be honest with you, I mean, my hot take was definitely Tyler Linderbaum, but I'm going to go defense because we definitely have a lot of holes. And I'm going to go to the quarterback of the defense, linebacker. We only have 2 rookie linebackers or 2 very young linebackers that we're mostly playing special teams, so we're definitely going to be going for more than one linebacker. I did see that the Raiders and the Bears are talking about a trade. Maybe Max Crosby's part of that trade. I forgot the linebacker there.
The Raiders trading their other star to the defensive end to the Bears.
Yeah, but this time we'll be getting that. Fuck, man. I literally forgot the fucking name right now.
Devin Lloyd's available as a free agent.
Devin Lloyd is definitely a free agent, but I feel like he's definitely going to go to like another competing team. Somebody is going to pay him really
The Raiders
big.
should sign Kenneth Murray.
No, the one person that I think they can sign is fuck, I just had this fucking name, man. I'm so bad with names. Nakobe Dean with the Eagles. He was just because actually we just signed the linebackers coach from the Eagles. That's somebody obviously like he's been coaching for a long time. He's been playing solid with the Eagles. Obviously, got himself a bigger contract, but you know I can definitely see him being a leader in that defense. I mean, if we end up trading for somebody, then I'm guessing it's gonna be that linebacker as well. But for agency, yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like it's definitely gonna be a linebacker. I wish Devin Lloyd, but I just don't see. If we're going to be spending a lot of money, it's definitely going to be on the offensive line. I think Dean doesn't really break the bank. He's just probably going to be around 14, 15 maybe million.
That's a lot for an inside linebacker.
Something, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know really the average for him, so I really don't see them breaking the bank for him, to be honest. Just because there's so many other linebackers available.
Not... It is breaking the bank at that price. Sometimes you got to think. Well, yeah,
but I'm saying like I don't really know the average, so like I can see him getting above minimum, but I don't really see like Raiders dropping like a big bag on him just because there's so many other linebackers available.
Yeah, for the Chargers, I think the top free agent, it's got to be like the internal free agent. I think it's got to be Odafe Owe. With what he did, they're coming over. There's the number right here is getting pretty high for him too, so I don't want to go into a bidding war, especially because there's always decent pass rush out there that maybe won't cost as much, and then maybe you use that as your first round draft pick.
Yeah.
But I would love to have him back, and I hear, like I said, I hear creeping up to that $20 million and over range per year. He's still kind of young. I want to say he's like 26, 27, somewhere in there.
He's 27.
Yeah, so I feel like he's still young enough where you're going to get the production out of it, especially if he already showed what he can do, especially across from Thule, who I wish, I hope they give an extension to this offseason because it's just going to get more expensive after next. But yeah, that would be my top free agent need for them. If not, well, that's internally at least, and he's probably the top. And then just right below, I'd probably go with Tyler Linderbaum, just to get a proven commodity there. It's needed there to shore up the center of your offensive line with as much as Herbert got hit last year. Like, you need to spend that money. I don't care if they pay him the top money, top dollar in the league.
He'll get top money.
Yeah, he's definitely get to set the market. So that they already did it once before. That it worked out, but it didn't with Corey Linsley. That he was great when he was there, but then he had some, I think, like some heart issues where he had to retire early. So hopefully those issues don't come about and he just plays well. So with Tyler Linderbaum, and that would be my like top external free agent.
Yeah, the interior line there for the Chargers last year was boot cheeks. So
Yes.
yeah, that would definitely make sense.
And they got
for
the money
them.
to spend.
Yeah.
I think like close to $100 million, and a couple more cuts here and there could get them, north of close to like $110 million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they got a ton of money to play with.
a lot of holes to fill, though.
Yeah.
A lot of holes.
Yeah.
Just two of their own internal free agents would take up 40 of those million, basically.
Right. And like you said, you got to save some for extending dudes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Broncos did this year. They had a lot to play with, but extending guys like Benito and Court and guys like that, Malcolm Roach, they had to send out a lot of money. So anything else this week, guys? That pretty much covered it.
No. Right now we're just hoping for things, but next week we'll have a better idea of what we're dealing with.
We will have a ton of stuff to talk about next week. Like we said, we got the free agency opening up. So hopefully we have some fun signings to talk about next week with the Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Really hope the Broncos make a splash. We'll see. But until then, anything else, boys?
Yep.
Okay. Well, then it's 349 days until Bone next wins his first Super Bowl.
No, Davis Webb is play caller.
Cheers.